again, I don't spend my time questioning. I don't spend my time worrying. I don't spend my time comparing myself to others. I compare myself to one person.
Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Are you ready to start investing in real estate today but don't know where to start? Sometimes investing can seem way too complicated, but it actually couldn't be any easier than with homeinvest.com. You know the co-founder and my friend Nate Armstrong. He appeared on episode 20, and if you haven't heard it, go back and listen to it, episode number 20. Home Invest is a company that allows you to invest in turnkey real estate. Their goal is to build powerful investment tools that make real estate investing accessible to everyone. They have contractors and property managers available for you with the click of your mouse. While other real estate agents can only offer a property, Home Invest brings you a full turnkey package that allows you to diversify your investments, earn passive income, and start building equity in properties. Their simple, intuitive design allows newcomers and experienced investors alike to hit the ground running and to be able to choose the properties when they want and where they want. View easy to understand charts and data to allow you to buy in only a few clicks or just a simple phone call. With Home Invest, you'll be building your portfolio as quickly or as slowly as you would like. And right now, Home Invest is giving our listeners, Pillar of Wealth Creation listeners, a free course on how to finally win in real estate investing. So go to homeinvest.com/pillars. That's homeinvest.com/pillars to claim your free course today. Hey, Pillars of Wealth Creation listeners. Today is a special episode. I've got John Lee Dumas, JLD, host of Entrepreneur on Fire. He's going to be on the show, and he's got a short amount of time that he was able to give to us, but that's perfect because he packed in a ton of stuff into that 15 minutes. He talked to us a ton about, how does he keep that focus and that drive to get all these interviews in. He does the daily podcast. He's also got his teaching stuff that he's doing. He's written 2 different books, the Freedom Journal and the Mastery Journal. He's just doing a ton of great stuff. And so we talked to him about that. We talked to him about his mistakes. We talked to him about what he's learned from all these people that he's interviewed. He's interviewed people like Tony Robbins and Tim Ferriss and just fantastic entrepreneurs. So if you don't know what EOFire is, Entrepreneur on Fire, EOFire, it's an award-winning podcast where he's interviewed today's most successful entrepreneurs. And it does 7 days a week. And he's grown this, and he gives everybody on his webpage. You can go right to his webpage, EOFire.com, and you can see how much they're making. It's a multi-million-dollar a year business. And he's done over 2,000 episodes with 1.5 million monthly listeners, which is amazing. I can only hope to be a fraction of that one day. So amazing accomplishments he's got going on. I think you're going to love this interview, and you're going to want to listen intently. Like I said, it's only 15 minutes, and he throws out a ton of good stuff. You're going to want to rewind several times or re-listen to it a few times. So enjoy JLD. He's coming up. Check it out. JLD, welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation. Thank you so much for joining me today.
I'm fired up to be here. Pillars of Wealth are some of my favorite activities and physical properties in the world.
Absolutely. So I want to be one of the first ones to congratulate you on 2,000 episodes, because by the time this airs, you're going to have over 2,000 episodes on Entrepreneur on Fire.
April 13th, 2018, I hit episode 2000, and it feels great.
That is awesome. And so my starting question for you is, how the heck do you do it, man? How do you keep that fire to continue to go day after day, do it in 2,000 episodes and presumably continuing to go for who knows how long?
Yeah, well, number one, the reality is this, is that I couldn't do it every single day. There are so many days, more days than not, that I don't feel like podcasting, that I wouldn't feel like interviewing somebody or editing or doing any of those things. But long ago, I did recognize the importance and the opportunity of batching. And so where I've got to now with my podcast and my business is that 2 days per month, 2 days, I do 30 interviews. So I do 15 interviews on the first Monday of every single month, 15 interviews on the first Tuesday of every single month. And then I'm done for the month. And so I know that those 2 days, I'm coming, with my LeBron James A game. Like I'm bringing my A game for those 2 days, and I'm giving myself my all, my heart, my soul, my passion, my excitement. Every interview, I'm there. I'm building off of the energy of my guests, and I'm in it for 2 days. And then for the next 28, 29 days, I can do other things. I can work on other parts of my business. I can rest. I can recuperate. I can focus on health and wellness, all because I've created the systems and the automations that allow me in just 2 days per month to record 30 episodes.
So let's take it, that Monday, it's recording number, 26 or whatever it is.
I only do 15 in each day.
So eat 15. Okay. So it's recording number, 13 or 14, and you just don't do you have the energy still continue?
Those are my best interviews.
Those are your best.
Like I've been like a vampire sucking on the energy of episodes 1 through 13, so that by episode 14 and 15, like I am literally on fire. Like I just build off that energy, off of that vibe, and I just keep it going. And again, I just say, to myself, get over it. You might not want to do every single episode during that course of the day. I am a human being, but I'm like, hey, I'm committed to this process, 2 days per month. Get over yourself. You spend 13 months in Iraq, you can definitely do two days of interviews and talking to cool people every single time you have a chat. So get over yourself and make it happen.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, because it's so easy. And I like that you did that time block, because it's so easy to lose focus. So I think time blocking is massively important.
Time blocking is everything. The Pomodoro methods really changed my life. That's why I launched the Mastery Journal, and that really teaches and guides people exactly how to become a master of productivity, discipline, and focus, because it's all about the time blocking, about creating the systems and the automations to make things happen.
So you created a course too, and it helps, future podcasters. Why did you create a course, and are you worried about the competition?
Well, I created a course because I really keep my finger on the pulse with my listeners. And I love asking the question to my audience, Fire Nation, what are you struggling with? Like, what are your biggest obstacles and challenges and struggles? And it just kept coming back to me time and time again, is that my listeners were like, John, we actually love what you do as far as like interviewing people in a niche that you're inspired in. Like, I love figure skating or gardening or fishing or health and wellness. I want to talk to the luminaries in my field, but how do I start a podcast? And like that just kept coming up as something that I didn't really realize that people were going to want to do. But because I had that conversation, I asked that question, they share with me what their obstacle and challenges was, and then I can provide the solution for them, which turned out to be Podcasters Paradise, which I happily am wearing that shirt right now. And, that's now turned into the largest podcasting community in the world, with over 3,500 members, over $4.5 million in revenue. And that just keeps growing and growing and growing as we continue to serve more people in the podcasting world. And, as far as your question to the competition, like, I don't look at my competition. I just say, how can we improve our process, the onboarding? How can we improve the experience? How can we improve, just the overall quality of everything that we're doing within? There's always going to be competition out there. And, just like those famous race cars drivers say, if you look at the wall, you're going to hit the wall.
Yeah.
Like, you look at your competition, like you're not looking at yourself, like you're not focusing on what you need to be doing. So, I think there's room enough for everybody in this world. I have a mindset of abundance. I don't live in a world of scarcity. It's just a decision that I chose long ago, and I'm sticking to it. And that's kind of my take on that.
Absolutely. I love it. Let's talk about marketing, because you've done a fantastic job getting your podcast out there. You've got, your course and all this other stuff that's generating revenue. Let's talk about the marketing and what are you doing that's special, that's outside of what some other people maybe are doing that aren't so successful.
Yeah, it's a good question, because I mean, one thing that we do is every single month we share our monthly income report, which is just a complete transparency and openness and honesty of what we're doing. And, that's definitely something that a lot of people don't do. And I think that that kind of openness and transparency really brings people into our business and shows them what's working so that they can maybe think about, using some of the things that we've found success with in their business. But just as importantly, what's not working and what are we making mistakes at? Because we talk about those all the time on the income reports as well. And now we just published our 55th monthly income report in a row. We bring on our CPA, we bring on our lawyer, we bring on
Mm.
special guests too in those areas where they can give value in their areas of expertise pertaining to tax or legal or whatever it might be in growing your business. And I think it just kind of really sets us apart. I saw Pat Flynn doing it way back in like 2012, 2010, 2011. And that kind of inspired me as somebody who hadn't even launched my business yet. And I said, if I ever get to that point where I'm making like very legitimate money that other people could learn from, like how I'm making it and why, I'm making it and all those things. I want to do that. I want to bring that transparency and that authenticity to my audience, to my listeners. And I think that's one thing that's really set us apart.
That's cool. Do you ever worry about, you're putting yourself out there, you're putting that statement out there. Do you ever worry about, what that could potentially, what somebody could potentially do with that? Or did you just
Yeah,
say,
I just really don't go down that road, because I think once you go down that road, like where does it end? I mean,
yeah,
you're worried about everything, and
yeah,
you can choose to live a life where my mindset's of abundance. I want to share with people. That's gonna come with some consequences. I'm not naive to that fact. I mean, I'm a military officer. I spent 4 years as an active duty officer in the U.S. Army, 13 months in Iraq. I mean, I'm not naive to the world. Like I've seen things, I've done things, I've experienced things. Like I know that that's a reality, but I just choose to say, you know what, I'm going to do what I think is best for us, for our listeners. And honestly, that is an income report. And honestly, that is doing X and Y and Z, which other people might, really kind of be curious about and question. But, again, I don't spend my time questioning. I don't spend my time worrying. I don't spend my time comparing myself to others. I compare myself to one person. Can you guess who that person is?
I'm guessing yourself.
Myself yesterday. And if
Yeah.
I'm getting that comparison, getting at life. Today I did 35 minutes of yoga, meditated, did a infrared sauna, did some journaling, did some breathing. Guess what? I got a little bit better today than I was yesterday. So I'm winning that comparison. I think if all of us can just focus on that and not fall into that compare and despair cycle, we'll be a lot better off.
Wow, that's awesome advice there. So anybody who just rewind that and listen to that again, compare to yourself and not just sit there and worry about what everybody else is doing.
Compare you to yourself yesterday.
Yourself yesterday, yeah. Continue to improve.
You're going to win at life.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you talk a lot. You ask your guests about their past mistakes or stuff like that. So what's a past mistake that you've made and how have you learned from that?
Made a lot of mistakes, documented them all in our income report. We're really proud of our mistakes because, for me, all the magic happens outside of the comfort zone. And if you're going too long without making any major mistakes, that means that you're just living in your comfort zone. And again, there's no magic happening in this comfort zone. It's all out here in this comfort zone, outside of your comfort zone. So there's been a lot of mistakes. I say the biggest one that I ever made was not launching my podcast when I was supposed to and scheduled to launch my podcast. Back in August of 2012, the date was set, all the interviews were done, the website was ready, and I woke up and I just panicked and I couldn't launch my podcast because I said, what if this fails? And if this fails, then everything that I've been doing thus far has been a waste of time and is a failure. And so I just panicked and I didn't launch my podcast. And it took 5 weeks for me to build up the courage for my mentor, Jamie Masters, to say, John, if you don't launch this podcast, I will fire you as a client, to finally get me to be like, you know what, I got to do this. And then I put it out, and then I realized, man, my only mistake was just doubting in the process and doubting and putting that out there. And, that almost cost me big. I mean, it really did cost me big. I mean, a year later, I was making $100,000 a month. So, I probably would have got to that point a month earlier had I launched my podcast a month earlier. So just waiting doesn't help, in my opinion. Like, get it out there. It's never going to be good. It's never going to be exactly how you want it. Get it out there, adjust, get feedback, pivot, move forward every single day.
So, somebody who's just starting out podcasting, or really starting out just doing anything, putting themselves out there, whether it's blogging or podcast, doesn't matter what. With your experience, now you got this great podcast now, you got a ton of listeners. How did it start? And, what were the growing pains? Just take us through like the first couple months of how did that start, and the growing pains, and how few listeners you maybe had.
Yeah, it started with the one listener. And it's just that one listener, and it became real for me when I finally saw like that one tick, and I saw, man, like somebody has chosen to listen to my podcast. I don't know why, but they're listening to it. And honestly, that tick turned into 2, turned into 10, turned into 1,000, and it was a really quick growth for me. And the reason is, there was a ton of luck involved. And now I do believe in the quotes, luck is where effort meets opportunity. So just to be very clear there. But there was a lot of luck involved with my podcasting process. It was 2012. The landscape was very different. There weren't that many podcasts. There were very few interview-based podcasts. So if you were somebody that like wanted to actually listen to an interview that was interviewing a successful entrepreneur, you didn't have many options. And I came out with something completely different that was, in reality, quite buzzworthy. And that was a daily podcast interviewing entrepreneurs. So I quickly saw my listens spike to like 2,000 to 3,000 per day.
Wow.
Are huge, massive, massive numbers. And I can't even overstate that. I mean, that can never happen today in 2018, unless you're some huge like Tim Ferriss type name that just launches a podcast. Like then maybe you get there, but it was just ready, and it was just, there was a market for it. There was a need that I filled. And so that would be my biggest kind of piece of guidance and advice to people listening to this is, you didn't miss the boat on podcasting. Like the boat is still here, like rocket. But like, what's a niche that you're filling that somebody else isn't? And if you're just going to do another interview-based podcast, interviewing entrepreneurs about their story, like, hello, I did that 6 years ago. I did that land grab. There's been a lot of people that have come after, tried to replicate that haven't, because, their timing just wasn't there for many reasons. And by the way, there's been a lot of people who have come out and launched very successful interview-based shows in their niche, in their area. So, it's a matter of what is that unique thing you're bringing to that world? What's that niche that you're filling? For me, nobody was doing a daily show. Nobody was following a very specific format so that the listeners knew what they were going to get every single episode. That just wasn't happening. So it was different. It was new, it was unique, it was buzzworthy. What are you going to do that's going to be buzzworthy?
Cool. So you've done all these interviews, you've talked to some amazing people. What's one or maybe two key takeaways, some of your favorite key takeaways that you've heard, advice that you've been given, something that really sticks or resonates?
My favorite word by far, and that I found is such a similar trait that almost every entrepreneur has, is their ability to focus. And that's follow one course until success. Focus. If you are able to focus, to laser focus on one thing and just become best in show at that one thing, then you're going to win at some level. And by the way, if you just are not able to win at that one thing, even with all your focus, that means you're too broad. You're going to niche down, niche down, and niche down until you're able to become number one in that area. Not number two, not number seven, number one. That's why people that just interview entrepreneurs are not winning to the level that they think they should be winning, because they're not number one. Like, I'm number one. So they should niche down and they should find how they can become number one, because there's a disproportionate amount of success that is found to those people who are number one in what they do. So become number one.
Cool. Yeah, that reminds me of, I think it's Gary Keller on the One Thing. He talks about, putting all your eggs in one basket, protecting that basket, and then making that basket, growing that basket, and not doing what everybody else says. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah. Like I believe in that quote as well. Like, if you try to resonate with everybody, you're going to resonate with nobody.
Yeah.
Your voice screaming in the wind. Like, you shouldn't be trying to resonate with everybody. You should be really trying to make a deep impact with a certain number of people. And that number is not infinite. It's very finite.
Sure. Awesome. Well, I know we're on time, so we gotta, cut this short. You gotta go. But how can people get in touch with you and tell us, where to find your show?
All the magic happens at EOFire.com. Links to the podcast. We have free courses waiting for you there. Very quick, powerful courses on how to podcast, how to do webinars, how to create funnels, how to accomplish goals. It's all there. It's all free. EOFire.com.
Awesome. JLD, I appreciate it. Thanks for serving in our military. Thank you for this interview and your awesome podcast. I appreciate it.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day. Hey, special thanks to JLD for joining us. That was awesome. Tons of valuable insight from him, and just awesome that he was able to take some time from his day to chat with us and to give us, his insight and what he's learned from interviewing over 2,000 people. That's an amazing feat. That's just a ton of people that he's talked to, that he's interviewed, that he's got advice from, learned about their businesses. So really cool to have him on the show. A few things I took from this, among a ton. I mean, I would listen to this episode a few times. I really enjoyed it. I've actually listened to it already several times. So first of all is time blocking. Make sure you're spending time doing that. Time blocking, just getting your day set up. He talks about how he clumps all these interviews into just 2 days a month, which is amazing. He gets a whole month worth of interviews done in 2 days. Then he has time to focus on everything else to help build and grow his business. The other thing I thought he said is compare you to yourself yesterday, and always try to make yourself better than you were the day before. So compare yourself to yourself yesterday, not compare yourself to other people. I thought that was extremely valuable. And then follow one course until success. So focus, follow one course until success, meaning don't try to just do something and then give up before it's, before that success has happened. There's that picture of this guy, digging for gold or diamonds or whatever it is. And you see him turn around just before he hits that big thing of diamonds or big thing of gold. And the next person after him is going to dig just a little bit farther, and they're going to strike gold, and they're going to be rich. And that's what happens so often in business and so often in life, is you just give up before you should have. So appreciate John Lee Dumas joining us on the show and taking his time out of the day. And it was a lot of fun having him on. Go on to our Facebook page, Pillars of Wealth Creation Facebook page, and give us a like, Leave us some comments. If you have any comments to leave us, if you got some questions, if you want us to talk about something in particular with business or with apartments, if you have a guest that you want us to talk to, let us know as well. And then go on to iTunes. Give us a 5-star rating review if you like the show. We'd love to hear from you. We're trying to get our rating review by, my goal is before the end of this first year, which I started, I think, in October, to have over 100 rating and reviews. So go and do that for us if you can as well. And share this out. Just share it out with your network if you're enjoying what you're hearing. And I would definitely appreciate that. So I am Todd Dexheimer signing out. Make every day Saturday. Are you ready to start investing in real estate today but don't know where to start? Sometimes investing can seem way too complicated, but it actually couldn't be any easier than with homeinvest.com. You know the co-founder and my friend Nate Armstrong. He appeared on episode 20, and if you haven't heard it, go back and listen to it, episode number 20. Home Invest is a company that allows you to invest in turnkey real estate. Their goal is to build powerful investment tools that make real estate investing accessible to everyone. They have contractors and property managers available for you with the click of your mouse. While other real estate agents can only offer a property, Home Invest brings you a full turnkey package that allows you to diversify your investments, earn passive income, and start building equity in properties. Their simple, intuitive design allows newcomers and experienced investors alike to hit the ground running and to be able to choose the properties when they want and where they want. View easy to understand charts and data to allow you to buy in only a few clicks or just a simple phone call. With Home Invest, you'll be building your portfolio as quickly or as slowly as you would like. And right now, Home Invest is giving our listeners, Pillar of Wealth Creation listeners, a free course on how to finally win in real estate investing. So go to homeinvest.com/pillars. That's homeinvest.com/pillars to claim your free course today.